Well, hey guys, we're way off in the hills of Itawamba County again, and we're going to tell you the story about Miss Rosie Presley. What an incredible and interesting story. Let's go. You know, I started doing this YouTube channel a few years ago with my kids so that when we came across interesting Mississippi stories, well, we could learn about them. And Miss Rosie's story is definitely interesting. Her family members, well, they impacted the world and changed it as we know it. Of course, I'm mainly talking about one of my most favorite Mississippi musicians, her great-grandson, Elvis Presley. I would love to talk to Miss Rosie and see what she thought about the impact he had on, well, music history and pop culture. Nonetheless, in a previous video, we told you about a guy named John Wallace. And as we told you in that video, John Wallace is who I believe was the father of J.D. Presley. Now, there's definitely some people that disagree about that, but nonetheless, well, this video is about Rosella Presley. Folks, Miss Rosella Presley was born in Fulton, Mississippi on February the 16th, 1861. And just in case you don't remember, there was a civil war going on in this part of the world back then. Now, I'm just guessing here, but she probably would have spent her life as an infant and a young child a little bit uncomfortably, certainly hungry from time to time. In this part of the world, if there was anything available to eat, one army or the other would get it when they rode through town. Rosella survived the Civil War and grew into adulthood, and somewhere along the way she had at least 8 different children. I say at least because I can't really find documentation that can assure me how many kids she had. Some say 8, some say 9, and some say 10. She had these children with 2 or 3 different men, depending on who you ask, and the kids' names were Walter, Essie, Dacia, Noah, Jesse, D, Calhoun, Mac, Robbie, and Joseph, at least according to one of the sources I found. And she kept her maiden name of Presley for all her children. Now, one source I found said she was married and widowed prior to 1910, but her children had the last name of Presley. And the reason we're here today is because one of her children, whose name was Jesse Dunning, or I like to call J.D. Presley, well, J.D. was Vernon Presley's dad, or Elvis Presley's granddad. At any rate, Miss Rosella is Elvis Presley's great-grandmother, and had she not kept her maiden name for all of her children, one of the greatest entertainers to ever live, I think, would have been named Elvis Wallace. It just doesn't have a good ring to it, does it? Well, I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit of Elvis family history today, and unless you find Miss Rosie's maybe never marrying, or at the very least keeping her maiden name for her children's last name a bit too unusual, just don't judge. You can never know for sure her reasons or motivations behind such decisions. But these decisions were unusual, certainly for the time period in which she made them. It kind of says to me how strong a woman she was. Nonetheless, I give you Miss Rosella Presley, the great-grandmother of one of the greatest musicians and entertainers in Mississippi's history, Elvis Presley. Thank you.